What's knitting?
Knitting is just like this.
Yeah, it's just like that. What do you do with knitting?
You make stuff with knitting.
Like what?
You can make a sock or a hat or anything.
You can make what?
A sock or a hat or anything.
A hat or anything? Are you gonna learn how to knit?
Yeah. I'm not even mom yet. Mom know how to knit, but I'm not a mom.
Knit a rainbow.
Knit a rainbow?
We can knit a rainbow.
That'd be so beautiful.
It doesn't have to be red, blue, yellow, green, or any color.
Cool. All right, let's make a plan to knit some rainbows together. All right, let's get started. Hello. I almost said good morning, but it might not be morning when someone. When I watch them at dinner time or while I'm making supper or something, and the person's like, "Good morning," I'm like, "It's not morning." You know what I'm talking about.
Always morning somewhere though.
Well, that's true. For some reason, back to the vacation drinks made me think it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyways, I'm Tamu.
I'm Naledi.
And I don't think we officially named the podcast. Are we doing that? I don't know.
I had an assumption of what it was called, but I guess you're right. No, we didn't officially name it.
All right. We'll sidestep that for now. Put a pin in it. Yeah, so we're going to chat about some knitting and our whips and future knits and all that good stuff. To recap, I am in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and you are?
In Collingwood, gorgeous Collingwood, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada, and we are real life sisters. I'm the big one, she's the little one. In case that was unclear at all, I feel like it's only ever one time in my life that anyone's ever been like, she's younger? I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
my father-in-law, one day he came over and he was like helping us with a project or something at home. I think it was the climbing wall. And I don't know how it came up in that, like us doing that, but then he was like, is she older? And I was like, yes. And then I said it like that because I always think it's like obvious too, like you are actually taller and more broad and like, you know, the bigger personality. I just feel like it seems like so obvious to me. And he's like, no, I don't think I ever really thought about it. I just never really knew. And I was like, it should be like, oh yeah, she is the older one then. Not you're like, really?
Yeah. To me, it probably depends on the ways in which you experience us together. Because I think the longer you spend time with us together, it's probably an obvious just dynamic between the two of us. But like, I've met your father-in-law before, but it's kind of short stints and there's usually lots going on. So you don't really like maybe stand and talk to both of us at the same time.
Right. But you know what I actually think it is? I got married first and had the first kid. And I honestly, you know what? I think that actually came out in the conversation too. I was like, we just did things in different orders.
Yeah.
I guess we follow like the more traditional.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, what you wearing? Not that I don't
wearing
know.
A jean top. I'm wearing my FO.
Black lacy underwear.
Not that cute. We won't even go down there.
Girls, you know.
Yeah.
That time in the laundry cycle.
Anyhow, I was gonna finish that, but I'm gonna stop right here because I'm the habitual line crosser. I take the joke too far, so I'm gonna stop right there. I have ideas though, where else to go. Anyway,
we'll tack them on to the end. I'm kidding. Don't stay tuned to the end, waiting to hear about her underwear.
You don't want to know. Okay, this is my FO. I finished that last night. Pardon?
Closer to the camera, can't really see.
Do you want me to take it off so you can see it?
Sure, if you want.
I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's trying to get into the bedroom.
She's like, I hear you in there.
That happened last week too. Okay, so this is I almost said the name of the next thing. This is the Flamingo cowl that I cast on last week. It is an On the Lamb Designs original. Beautiful. We were talking, yeah, and there's the
This one's the first one.
first one.
We talked about last time too.
Yeah.
So yours is the Young Yarns
Right.
DK weight in the Pinkamingo colorway, and mine is Yarn Ink in worsted weight in the Flamingo colorway. But interestingly, maybe not that interestingly. What's that?
A hole.
Why do you have a hole?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I was going to say this is imperfect. I think it was with at the end making the stitches. But then when I did the purl one, or I don't think it's a ladder. Like I think it's an actual hole.
Where is that? Beginning of the round?
No, it's at the back. So you know when you like go and do all the neck piece,
Yeah.
there's no short rowing on the back, right?
Yeah.
It was like where the one of the neck sides joined back in with the short row side. But all the other stitching worked out.
Weird.
So it was something that I did. I know it was something that I did, but
Oh well.
it's at the back.
When you have it on, no one will see it.
It's at the back.
Galloptest.
Exactly.
Can't tell.
Someone's riding very close behind my horse.
I was noticing my galloping. It's like clearly I've never ridden a horse because I'm not
how it looks.
I think this is the hooves more than it's the reins. I'm not sure.
If this is
Horseback riders, I apologize.
there's something wrong with your horse then.
It's groovy. It's my groove.
Yeah,
Anyways, what I was going to say, pattern-wise, is you did the DK, I did the worsted. And I think I was saying last time about how I just generally like to see patterns in various yarn weights because, you know, you never know how the mood strikes. Maybe you want something warmer, maybe you want something lighter. But when we held the yarns near each other, both of them seemed pretty well, like the bases were almost dead on the same. So we both worked them on the same size needles. And yours has not been blocked yet, which is why it's like, yeah, you know that, but for others, it hasn't been blocked yet, which is why it's a little snugger to the neck. But I think it will still be a little snugger to the neck.
I think it will.
I think,
I mean, I can stretch it pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think it will always be it.
You'd be
Which is
surprised.
kind of nice.
Once you get it wet, it's like,
sorry, I was gonna say it's kind of nice. Like it's not something you'd wear like normally. I probably wouldn't just sit like this wearing it this tight, but like for a cool day, I don't want to have air leaks, you know?
Yeah. Those are the ones I like under my jackets because I generally don't buy jackets with high collars. So it's like, you know, if your jacket's like you zip it up to here and you have a little bit of collar, but you have some space, it's like, you know, the perfect little tuck inside your jacket. Or even I've been like having like zippy hoodies because it's like not quite cold enough for coats every day, but like a zippy hoodie, and then it fits inside kind of nice because sometimes with a hoodie you can't really, there's not a whole lot you can fit in there. Anyways, I'm going to switch back to what I'm wearing today. So this was, I think, my second pattern on Ravelry. I think my first one was like a very, very, very chunky crocheted cowl. And this was the second one. It's called Business in the Front. So I don't know if you can really see it all, but so it's like, it hangs nice and long in the front, and the neck was like a little bit more open than I would have liked. So I may redo that sample, well, mostly just for me. But it's called Business in the Front because I made it so that you could also wear it pulled down over your shoulders, and then on the back there's a lace column that I wanted to kind of look a little spine like. Anyways,
I love that one.
I quite like it. I wear it very regularly. Like I would say now it might be coming in a little second place to my tilted cowl because I've been wearing that a lot. But before the tilted cowl existed, this was my go-to because I love that it's this Crooked Kitchen yarn. I don't recall if I used DK or worsted, but I feel like it's worsted. In her FIRELINE colorway, and it's knit top down, which is why you get like when the rows are shorter, it's a little bit more like micro stripe variegation. And then as it kept going, the colors started to pool. And when you lay it flat, you can actually tell it's like this swirling sort of spiral, the way the colors worked up. So it's like the dark gray and the light gray, and then these little blips of yellow, red, and black.
Oh, red.
Yeah, there's teensy bits of red somewhere. I don't know.
It doesn't show up on the lighting, but
yeah, there's one.
Okay.
But just like teensy spots here and there, which I love because it's just like, your eye just catches them every once in a while, but otherwise it mostly reads as a neutral. So I can wear it with like everything. Anyways, it's one of my faves. Yeah. What else? What else did you finish? That's your only FO, you said?
Oh, I finished, since the last time we spoke, I'm wearing them right now. They look kind of funny. I finished off the other half of our quadruplets. I was like, what did I say? So I like exactly finished the ball of Regia yarn, which was fun, and then had to use some of my like scrap yarn to finish them off at the very top, which you can't see when you're wearing big pants.
Yep.
Yeah, so we forgot because I was there on the weekend. We should have taken a picture with our 4 feet together because I showed up and you were wearing your socks too. Yeah. So I finished those. I have no other FOs. That's it.
Fun.
Socks. Is that a lie? No, just these 2 things. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. My FOs, I finished I don't know, I kind of call them my demo derby socks because I knit on them a lot at demo derbies over the summer. Twisted Limone in a one-of-a-kind stripey colorway, reminiscent of Amy Florence of Stranded Dyeworks stripe sock colorway, also from Twisted Limone. I saw hers on her podcast and then had to message I can't remember her real name, but the lady from Twisted Limone to be like, Amy's socks, can I have ones like that?
I'm not sure what are you talking about?
So the colorway is one of a kind. But have you watched the Stranded Dyeworks podcast?
No, okay.
Or Amy, yeah, I think on YouTube it's Stranded Dyeworks. That's the name of her business. That's the name of her podcast. She's in the UK somewhere. Anyways, on one of her podcasts, and I can't recall when now, like months and months ago, she showed socks that she was making out of a colorway that had a lot of the same colors from a dyer who is also in the UK called Twisted Limone. And so I saw them, knowing that they were one of a kind, but like messaged her and was like, hey, is there a chance of getting something similar? Because I just really liked, especially like this section right here. Like these, like the mints and the light blues and stuff all together, and then like these kind of random pops. I really liked them. So I was like, is there any chance of getting those? And she's like, again, it won't be exactly the same because those ones she does one of a kind, but I can definitely do ones with similar colors. I was like, sweet. So yeah, finally got those done. I have like 50 grams left, so my wheels are turning on what I'm gonna make because I don't think I need another pair of socks. Yeah, you'd like it. And then the heel is just a Regia 4-ply, some probably unnamed colorway, numbered colorway of some variety. It's like a little bit, I would call it like a royal blue, like a purpley blue. Yeah. Anyways, I quite like it.
I love those socks. My favorite is the maroon, the white, and the black or deep navy, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those like 3, the bold colors. I thought you were going to talk about like something about it looks really familiar.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I'll have to, hopefully, that will like just come.
Knitting one continuous tube, it would have gone that way.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. That looks right. No, this way. Yeah, I started there.
And that yarn is so soft and dreamy, and it's like almost a little silky or something.
Mm.
It's beautiful. Oh my
It is
god.
a really nice base. I have a few more from her. The one that I keep wanting to cast on, but I can't figure out what exactly I want to do for a contrast heel toe, maybe cuff. It's called Magpie Party. If I can figure out how to do it, because the editing part of podcasting is really interesting. If I can figure out how to put a picture in, I will put a picture in of what the sock looks like in Magpie Party, because when you look at it in the ball, it looks a little, I'll say messy, because it's just like a lot of like black and white, like all together. But when you see it on the sock, it's like super micro stripes. So it's like black, and then the white stripes are very speckled. Not like super crazy speckled, but just enough with like pinks and stuff. So I like really want to knit these socks, but I can't figure out what to do I bought these little Koigu, they call them like skeinets. They're like this big, these little ones. And it's like one is like just enough to do like a toe with like a teensy bit left over. So I bought 4 because I was thinking like toes and heels, like all in the same colorway so they would match. And then when I put them side by side, I was like, because they're also like, they're kind of more of like a hot pink with some purple speckles. And I was like, maybe they're too crazy. Maybe I need just like a semi-solid or a solid to go with it. So I don't know. Anyway, so that was my one FO. I need to still weave in ends and stuff, and I was gonna say block, but I'm like, who blocks socks? Put them on your feet. And then this that I bound off last night. So I didn't show this last time because this was just one of those whips that's been, whipping for a long time. This pattern is my yacht scarf pattern. But again, in the interest of seeing things in different yarn weights, this is Knit Picks FELICI worsted. So again, self-striping yarn from Knit Picks. So it's 2 balls of the Baker Street colorway. I think it turned out really nice. So my intention, I think when I cast it on, and I want to say I cast this on probably in the spring, because it's like a really easy knit, 4-row repeat, super simple to like just pick up and put down. So it was kind of like I did a chunk, put it somewhere while I did something else, pull it back out, do a chunk, whatever. Anyway, so I think I sort of thought maybe I would give it to my husband for Christmas, but it was his birthday yesterday. I didn't really get him anything else. So I was like, oh, I better finish his scarf for his birthday. It was done before midnight, barely, but it was like ends woven in. It just needs to be blocked because it's clearly sort of curling up on itself. And it's a little bit, when you put it around, it seems short. So once I block it, it'll definitely has a lot of length to grow. But I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really nice. I've never used I had never used actually any of the FELICI yarns, but I had never used the FELICI worsted. So I actually quite like it. When I first cast on, I don't know if anybody else has found this, but the base is a little bit, I'm pretty sure it's just, merino and nylon, like there's nothing else in it, but it's a little bit ropey would be my description. Yeah, so 75 merino, 25% nylon. There's the tag in case you care. Yeah, it's a little bit ropey, and it almost reminded me of knitting with like a Bernat cotton that's been hanging around for a long time. So it's not as stiff as a cotton, but it just has that ropey where you can really see all the plies. So at first I was like, not so sold on this. But now that I'm at the end of it, I'm like, yeah, I think it'll soften up a little bit with wear, and it will not have much of a halo, which I think for a men's scarf is really nice to have that crispness to it, and it's like really, really nice stitch definition. Like you can see,
I like that a lot, yeah.
little stitch. Whereas the first yacht scarf that I knit was with the very first one was a fingering weight scrumptious pearl colorway, and it also, she has very nice like visible plies to her base, so it also had good stitch definition, but because it's fingering weight, it just wasn't as like chunky as this. Anyways, so it has renewed my resolve to knit one more yacht scarf, so that'll be 4 altogether. Because I had the scrumptious pearl one in the something about boating colorway. It's like navy, peach, and like a natural color. And then I knit it in Gauge Dyeworks White Light, which is the rainbow one that I did. That's very, very long. And then this one. And then I bought 2 balls of Nomadic yarns in, I'm going to say it wrong. I think it's Amarantia. It's a Harry Potter inspired colorway. It's like their love potion or love spell, something like that. It's lovely colors, like gold and like a kind of a dark peach and a red and a purple, like a really deep purple, which sounds like a very strange combination. When you see it all together, I feel like it's going to be really pretty. So I bought 2 balls of that in the sport weight. So I think it's going to be a very long scarf. I'm very excited about that one because I really want to like wrap it around. Little Lenny Kravitz style giant scarf. Anyway. What?
Oh, I said schlanket.
Schlanket. I wish I could knit it as a schlanket, but I don't think I have the stamina. I don't have the knitting stamina. I wouldn't last. Like if it was very wide and then also ridiculously long, I wouldn't last. I'd be like, yeah, this is never. It'd be one of those projects like that where I like knit a chunk and put it down for a year and then never come back to it. Anyways, that's all for FOV'S. Whips. What you working on?
Whips.
What you working with?
Well, of course, I have socks on the go. That's what I knit. So
I knit his socks.
actually, I have to tell my sad story first, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you already know the story. I went to get yarn yesterday for Jason. And my husband's socks that I showed last week, Patton's, Heather, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so I need to finish those off. So I went to the big girl yarn store. I was like so excited and proud. Went down. It's a bookstore now. It was so sad. The first time actually and I could just picture it in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. And it's a beautiful bookstore now. It's a really beautiful bookstore, but I was like, I walked in, I was like, hi. This looks really great. You know what happened to the yarns? They moved back to Belleville. The good thing is, now I have a new project in mind. Getting you to move to Collingwood so we can open a yarn store. No, I know it's not going to happen. It's so sad though. Anyway.
I wish if life were different.
Right. I know there is still, I think there's still a yarn shop in Meaford, but that's like a good 40-minute drive. That's closer than going to Barrie. But
there's one in Shelburne.
Is there?
Mm-hmm. Look, I've already done the research.
That's crazy.
And mentally, and have mapped out where the yarn stores are between my house and your house. It's such a long drive already. And the only time that I think I could have worked it out to have time to stop, I had kids in the car and I was like, oh, I really want to stop, but I can't. Oh, I know why I looked. It was because I needed either a tip or a cord for a chow goo. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to order it. Only because they're a little bit pricier of a needle and then add shipping on top of it. So I was like, I wonder if there's anywhere that sells chow goos between my house and your house, because I knew I was driving up to you. And I'm 99% sure there is a store in Shelburne.
Or at least there was.
Well, there was as of, I don't know, one of the last times I would have driven there, so probably summer.
Right, well, next time I go get my hair done at your house. Because I'm not going to be driving, doing a long trip with the kids.
Yeah.
And then stop, less than halfway to go.
There's an app or a website called something about yarn shopping. It's like yarn. I don't know. It's gone. If I can remember it. Writing myself a note. Yarn.
Which also makes me think, now that I am knitting and Instagramming as well, there's no emoji for knitting.
Yeah. Well, wrong. There is knitting emojis. You have to download the app, kind of like you used to have with that other emoji one, when iPhone and stuff first came out. And it's only for iPhone. So I tried to get it for my iPad because it came out after I switched from iPhone to Samsung. Yeah, it's only for iPhone. And when I tried to do it on the iPad, it didn't work because basically you had to like go into the app, copy and paste the image, and then like paste it into your messages. And it never worked for me on iPad, but they do exist.
Okay.
Maybe someday Samsung will catch up.
Right.
Oh, are you using the opal now?
Yeah. No, this is not the opal. I said yeah. No, this is. I know.
Oh, that's that one I got.
The Regia, but it looks. It's coming out really tealy, and that's not what I expected.
No.
I think it's like it's gonna change or something as you go because there's like some
there's bluier colors in there and beigeier colors, right?
That's what I was gonna say is the beigeier. You can't even see it looks like gray on the computer, but yeah, but it like that's what I pictured. I thought this beigey was gonna come out into this area, but it's like really, really gray. Even in like for my eye, it's really gray. So it's gonna be neat how these socks work up too. Anyhow, this is the Regia.
I really like that those Regia. Pardon?
6-ply as well, I think.
Yeah, 6-ply, and the line is that digital color, so it's the same as the socks that you made for both of us. I just happened to be at one of the lens mills in my area because there are several, and I really like the weight of those 6-ply ones that you had made before, and that was just yarn that I had in my stash for ages.
Right.
So they had 1 ball of it left, and that was the colorway. Oh, sorry, 2 balls. They had that colorway and the same colorway you had already used, and so I was like, yes, it's gonna be this one because like it socks. So I'm not like I mean, I still want colors I like. I wouldn't do like a poo brown or like a pea green, but I was like, you know, these are colors I like enough that I was like, yeah, you should make me socks out of this.
Well, it's funny. I'm glad you said that because as I'm working it up, I'm like, I'm surprised by these colors for you. But I mean, like, but I was thinking the same thing, but they're socks. It's more fun to have a lot of variety then.
Yeah.
Yeah. They work up so fast. Like I can't believe my knitting's not that fast, but I did this in like an hour or something last night. This much. Anyway.
Well, and this is why, like, it's funny when I talk to other knitters and like, you know, we're all just different styles, different preferences, why I tend to gravitate towards heavier weight yarns in general. I mean, I'm back more on a sock kick than I had been in a long time, but this is why I go for like, you know, worsted and DK everything, because I'm like a shawl that would take me hours and hours and hours in fingering weight will take me hardly no time at all in worsted weight. And really like sometimes a fingering weight shawl is just like, it's not that warm. Like it's, you know, like I'm like, I do all this knitting and then when I go to wear it, I still don't really feel that, you know, like it's almost more like a decorative accessory rather than like a for warmth accessory. And we are in Canada where warmth sometimes is like absolutely crucial and I'm always cold. So bigger, bulkier things that actually provide some insulation are necessary in my life.
Sorry, I'm digging around. I can't believe I don't remember where I put the label for this yarn. You'll have to remind me what this is again.
It's a Knit Pick something, but I don't recall what the line was. If it's Stroll or I don't think it's Stroll. Is it Stroll? Because it's a bit rougher than the Stroll that I have. But
I recognize the name Stroll because something else I'm working on is Stroll, but I think that's the next project. The
gradient Stroll. Yeah. It's just yarn that I bought from a D-stash. I think the person had bought like this with 3 solid purples and 1 variegated, and it was to make like a bunch of kids accessories. And I was just like in the collecting sock yarn that's inexpensive phase. So I was getting some other stuff from her for a D-stash, and I can't remember how much I paid for those 4 balls, but it was very inexpensive compared to like ordering from Knit Picks in US dollars plus shipping. Knit Picks is generally reasonably priced, but when you add all those factors together, sometimes it kind of goes up. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's neat that it's for a kid's collection because I did make my daughter, Ada, some socks out of this yarn, the pink and purple, like the pink and medium purple together. Yeah. Anyway, these ones are for me, and I'm trying what did she call it again? Spiraling rib pattern. And I'm still like, I haven't even worked on it. I started working on the pattern part of it at your house. So on Saturday, and today is Thursday. I've worked on it since though, because I'm like still not sure. But I think it's gonna be like one of those ones I'll just pick up and put it down every once in a while and see if I still love it. I'm just not sure. Anyway, partly it's my tension again, that I'm just not sure I'm loving how it feels to work it up. But I don't mind how it looks. Like I think it's going to look pretty. Have like a twisted or a spiraling rib.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty, but when I look at it and the fact that you have it going all the way around the foot, I just think it would be uncomfortable to walk on. Like I could see it being like if you did it top down and just had it on the leg and then a plain foot or something like that. But
yeah, I thought about that, but then I was like, I think it'll look weird to have it like, and then just have it stockinette afterwards. But I guess it's no different than having the toe. Just realized that too.
Yeah.
I'll think about that. I think I'll think about it. Maybe I'll enjoy that more.
Yeah, think about it. And I'm thinking about, I don't know if I showed them last time, and off the top of my head, I'm not sure where they are right now, but I did a test knit for SOONIII Knits. She's a French designer. These really, really pretty socks that were cabled down the leg, and then like one of the lines of cables kind of cut across the top of the foot and ended on the side. That I feel like that would be pretty. Like it was like you could, you know, just like as the spiral is coming down, when you get, you know, maybe you stop and do your heel, and when you join back in, just continue part of the line over to the other side. So it just like once it reaches like a certain line, you just stop working the pattern and work flat until all of the twist disappears. So it would just kind of like curve over your instep. And then I think she had like reverse stockinette for the rest of the foot, so it really highlights the pattern, because then what you see is pearls on the right side. We should play around with it.
Yes, you should.
You know how I love to hack a pattern. Can't ever just knit anything the way it's written unless I'm test knitting. I love that.
What's that?
I love that bag.
I know, I love this too.
How this started, maybe I shouldn't give away my secrets. This idea started, and I should probably start doing it again because it's really fun. This idea started because my husband Steve is an engineer, and in school, like one of the courses he had to take in college involved like drafting, and like I keep wanting to say pattern drafting, not pattern drafting, like design drafts and stuff. So like, I don't know, whatever, they would draw pipes. But they had like he got like a bag like that from, I don't know, probably the school bookstore, that like architecture students would carry their like long rulers and all their like other drafting materials in. So at some point he was like clearing stuff out, and he had this thing, this big long rectangular canvasy bag, and I was like, oh, can I have that? Because like he's gonna get rid of it, so like, because he doesn't need it for work anymore. He has a desk, he has like 3 desks that are actually just ridiculously long tables covered in stuff all the time. So he doesn't carry his supplies around. So I was like, yeah, can I have that? So I actually have like all my henna supplies in it. But then after like a few times of looking at it and being like, I want to decorate it, but I'm always like a little gun shy. When I only have one of something, I don't want to do anything to it because I'm afraid, like, what if I don't like it? And then I can't get rid of whatever I did to it. You know? So I went to Curry's art store. I don't know if they have those in the States. I think in the States they might have the same company, but it's called something else, but I'm not totally sure. Anyways, whatever. Curry's, it's an art supply store for like actual artists. But they have like essentially the same bag. So just long canvas bag. It's got a strappy handle. It's got a big zipper. But they're like $5. I'm sorry. Like, I get that like maybe it's made in a factory and, you know, all that stuff, but compared to the cost of like some of my really nice like handmade project bags, it's like very inexpensive. So I played around with, I think for fiber share, I might have like embroidered one for somebody. And then what you have on yours is this light reactive dye, and I think it's called Lumo color. So you like, it comes out of the package clear. You have to work with it very quickly because it will start to change color pretty quick wherever it is placed. But so you like brush it on, and then you put stuff on top of it, or, you know, so you could put like a silhouette on top of it. And anywhere that the UV light hits the dye, it will change to whatever color it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I love this.
Anyways, I think it's really cool. And the reason that it turned out so like almost tie-dye marbly kind of looking is just because I didn't mix the dye properly. Like came out of this little package and I was going so fast, I didn't really like squish it around to mix it. So it came out a little bit separated and I was like, oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's a fun activity.
Yeah. Okay, and then what's inside the bag is I don't know why that got me. What's this called? Oh, the work end shawl.
Yeah, buddy.
Another. It's like the miniature sample, you know?
Yeah.
Of the shawl, because it's gonna just be like a larger version of this, exactly, to scale. So the work end shawl, another On the Lamb Design original that I'm test knitting and am using. Do you want to talk about it or do you want me to? You're very good.
You
talk. I will talk. So test knitting this one. I'm assuming you've got the original. I think you just grabbed it. So yeah, that's the original. I really love the colors of that one, so I'll look for you talking about that one afterwards. Anyhow, so my version, you wanted to see this with, so I feel like you kind of need to talk about it because I don't remember if it's like this Knit Picks yarn, one ball would be the exact same weight as what you used before. It's lighter weight.
Oh no, yeah, weight-wise. So this is fingering. This one is the original sample. It's Gauge Dyeworks, which is like one of my probably my absolute favorite gradient yarn dyer, because she just is such an interesting dye technique. Sometimes she does like, you know, more, I guess, sort of the traditional stripes and stuff. But what I absolutely love about her process is like this, like where you get these sections where it's not, you know, solidly in one color or the other. You get this like really interesting like colors breaking up and stuff. This was a shawl ball, so it's meant to be worked in a shawl that starts small and grows. So again, the sections of color get longer as you go along, as opposed to a lot of gradient balls where they're equal sizes. So then that'll kind of break up the stripe. And this was a 170 gram ball, again, fingering weight, and I think it's just like a wool nylon kind of whatever blend, compared to some of her like MCN ones. Anyway, so yes, this yarn essentially the same weight as the yarn that you're working with, which is the Stroll, the Knit Picks Stroll gradient. But I wanted to see it a little bit heavier weight. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I wanted to see it a little bit heavier weight. So right. 2 strands held together.
2 strands. I love this.
Eyeballs.
I don't know why, like it's just neat to like watch the 2 strands come off together when I do it. Yeah, I really like this. So it'll be neat to see. This is gonna be like an awesome Halloween shawl for next year.
Yeah. It's so bright. I don't know what it is. What's that colorway called? Hologram, I think.
Hologram, yeah.
I don't know what it was about that colorway. Seeing it on their website, because like I'm not really an orange person in general. Like I don't mind orange, but I'd rather go like, if I had to pick something in the orange family, I'd probably go more on the peach tones. And it's so like almost eyeball piercingly bright for me.
Yeah.
That contrasted against, and I really like sort of traditional complementary color combos. So like purple and yellow and things like that. But it's like a yellowy enough orange that with the purples, I was like, I just need to have that in my life. It's like when I initially bought it, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. I don't even know why I bought two cakes of it. Like that made like no sense either. But then it's like after staring at it for a while, I was like, yes, this is what this should be. So I'm interested to see how it works up, because you're going to have quite a deep section of orange.
Yeah.
And then a very thin probably line of purple, the darkest purple at the top. So it'll be cool.
Do you want to say what your plan is for it?
I don't know. What's my plan? What do you mean?
What you're going to do?
I was like, what do you mean plan? I thought you meant for the finished piece.
I was like, well, I can't say it in case you don't want to.
No, some of my patterns I'm redoing in some of the Knit Picks colorways, because I'm trying to put on my big girl panties and submit some of those patterns to Knit Picks.
Back to the panties.
Panties, you know, conversations. I have to come full circle. Tie up loose ends and all that. So yeah, I'm just trying to work myself up to submit patterns to other places, because self-publishing is fun and all, but you know, I don't know. It's interesting to put them out there in different places.
Yeah.
There's some places, you know, that are kind of like besides Ravelry, are my go-to places to look for patterns, and places that I find their pattern selection to be very interesting and inspiring. And I'm very much one who, I will see something worked up in a certain yarn and I'll be like, oh, I want to go, you know, like I want to get the same yarn that that person used, because I know then it'll look as close to the same as possible. So I love that, like, places that sell yarn, like Knit Picks, have lots of pattern selections that they suggest. You know, when you're on that yarn page and you're like, what am I going to do with this? And you can look at the bottom, and there were some that for that stroll gradient yarn that I saved or kind of queued for myself in Ravelry, thinking, okay, I might come back and do that or whatever. But yeah, so working up to it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I just always
I get a little bit gun shy when I look at like their submission, and it's not like there's no like blood samples involved or flying anywhere to see them or anything, but you know, you just like look at the submission form and I'm like, I don't know, what if I do it wrong? So then I just chicken out. But some point in the near future I will have a few to submit, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted.
Cool.
Anyways,
that's it for my whips.
Whip. All right, whips for me. So talked about this one last time, so I'll show you the updated version. It's getting a little fun housey in here, not gonna lie, but I kind of love it. So this is my second go at the tilted cowl, heavily modified, I will say. Nah, maybe not heavily, moderately modified. So top section's exactly the same. Obviously I played with the stripes in section 2 because it's supposed to just be like this micro stripe, and I think I kept the section slightly shorter than it would have been. The eyelet section is definitely shorter. I think it's supposed to have, like, if you counted down, you know, it would be 7 eyelets. I think I have 3. And then the next section, again, just playing around with the color combinations, and it's supposed to be ridgy like this the whole way. So you do like 2 rows with knit and then 2 rows, like one's a knit, one's a purl. So you get this like ridged effect. So I did that just with the yellow, and then I switched back to flat stripes with the white. And now I'm joining back in this pink, the darker pink, for the bottom eyelet chunk. And I think I will keep it the same width as the pattern calls for. So on mine, it ended up being slightly shorter because I was getting into a little yarn chicken situation. So I think I'm going to keep it as deep as what it's supposed to be. So it'll kind of, you know, tie it all together. But yeah, it's getting like, I keep looking at it going like, it's a little crazy, but I still think I'm going to wear it. Like, I still think I really like it. So
I think it'll be one of those things where, like, once you put it on, it's like kind of scrunchy on you.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Yeah.
And that yellow is just
like, look at it flat like this, where you can actually see all the sections. But then when you put it on, you know, like, not all those bits are going to stick out. And I think on mine, I think often when I wear it, it's like what you see is kind of like that eyelet section in the middle, but because mine's smaller, you'll see a little bit of the stripe too. So I think the yellow will kind of hide and just peek out, and yeah, it'll be fun.
I like that a lot. I still think you should have gone and been bold and done just the yellow by itself in that one section.
I almost did, but it's just so
lemony,
shiny bright. It's just so bright on its own that, like, looking at it, like, almost hurts my eyeballs. Like, yeah. And it's funny, but I've been liking yellow a lot more than I ever have. So I had it in my head, you know, the interesting messages you get or you hear or you pick up along the way. So I had it in my head for a really long time that I couldn't wear yellow, because I have a yellowy undertone to my skin. So if I wear like a very yellowy yellow, I feel like it makes me look a little jaundiced maybe. Like, I just feel like I'm glowing yellow all over. So I just never wore yellow for a long time, unless it was like a very pale, like, you know, buttery almost, which even that is like a weird color for me. So I just don't do yellow. But then the last like I think it's like since the Grello thing kind of came out, which is probably on its way out, and I'm just like interested in it now. Gray and yellow together, Grello.
Okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden I've been like, yellow has been catching my eye more and more. And my fiber share buddy actually, this round, Lara, I think she pronounces her name. Hopefully that's right. On Ravelry, I think she's like, I love her Ravelry name. And I don't know if I can like say the whole thing properly, but it's like Lara Boom Bada Boom or something like that. I think it's so cool. And actually, interestingly enough, she and her sister both knit, and her sister is in Toronto, and she's like out west somewhere. I don't know if she's quite BC or like a little bit. Anyway, so we were talking back and forth about that. Because I was like, oh, my sister knits too, and she's also far away. And like, I think they share a blog.
Not that far.
Well, definitely not that far. And I was like, I don't know what I would do if you were that far away, and we'd only ever see each other. I don't even know. We don't have money to fly back and forth. Like I guess we'd figure it out. But yeah, anyways. So she gave me this really nice, I can't talk today. I feel like my words are getting stuck. A very nice skein of like a gold color from Baron Wool. And I think she's somewhere overseas, Europe-y-ish. I can't remember where. Anyways, it's like this really nice, like deep gold, honey, like yellows, mustardy. I don't even know. It's really pretty. Anyways, so I'm like, I really want to knit something with it because I actually feel like that's a color I would wear. Whereas this is like a little bordering on highlighter for me. Anyways, that was a really long chat about yellow. Anyway, so this yarn is Yarnenabler, a flamingo. I'll say mini skein set, but this pink wasn't mini. I think this was 85 grams, and then these were like 20-ish grams each. So obviously 5 colors altogether: black, white, pink, yellow, and then the darker pink. And there's going to be quite a bit left over, so probably just keep it for heels, toes, and things here and there. Oh, never mind. I have like all these secret things that I'm not telling you, that I'm like, don't mention it because you're going to drive her crazy. Don't mention it because then you're going to want to say it. Anyways, there's future knitting on the horizon that will be perfect for these random little bits and bobs of yarn.
You know what though? I've trained myself as a Zen master. I am actually getting joy out of not being bothered by things. Like
bother you then? Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
I said I got to work harder to bother you. Is that what you're
saying? Yeah, you do. That it's like what the joy I get out of it is like trying to bother you by not caring.
The joys of being sisters.
Yeah.
Other things on the needles. So this is like probably the least exciting whip that I have, but it's my husband's Christmas party. I actually should get back to this. It's my husband's work Christmas party, not this Friday. So not in 2 days, but in like 9 days. Is that right? It's on Friday. It's coming up. And I'm going to wear like a kind of a more simple dress. He works in construction, so people don't really get like super fancied up for this, but I thought, oh, I'm gonna knit something for myself to wear. So my vision is to have like just a long rectangular piece that's gonna like sit, shoulder, wrap around, and come back to this side. So I have this red, it's called Lipstick is the colorway. The light's not great, so it's not picking it up, but it's a little deeper than what it's showing on there, but it's a nice true red, which is what I really enjoy. It's a sport weight from the SHEEPSPOT in London. And first time using this yarn, and I'm totally going to mess up the name, of the sheep breed. So the SHEEPSPOT as a business specializes in like rare breeds of yarn and wool. I don't know where I put the tag. Here it is. Okay. Oh, so this one is the CLUN Forest Sport. There you go. So yeah, it's 100% wool, so I won't be able to throw it in the wash, but that's fine because it should stay fairly clean. It's a double skein, so it's whatever that said, 450 yards. So I think it should be enough to get all the way around. And then, oh, they're hiding over there. I'm going to show you these buttons that I ordered. So I think, oh, I know who it was. I was going to say Grocery Girls, but that's wrong. A yarn, she's not a dyer. I don't know how you'd put it. Monsoon Calamity. I love her plied cotton yarns. They're good, like really awesome for summer knits and like really pretty gradient and color combinations that she comes up with. And I've knit several things out of her yarn, or crocheted, sorry, several things out of her yarn. Anyways, she had shown this woven bag that somebody had made like on a, you know, proper weaving loom. And it's like one of those crafts that I aspire to learn, but just like don't have the time or money to invest in learning right now. So sometimes when like woven things come up, I'm like, oh, I gotta get my hands on that so I can have it in my life, even though I can't do it. Anyway, so yeah, she'd shown a bag or something that she had bought from, I think the business is the Rosy Deer or Rosy Deer, something like that. I'll pop it on in the notes or something. Anyway, so I went on her Etsy shop and she had these covered, at first what I thought were covered buttons, but what they actually were like, they looked like a covered button, but they were a magnet on the back. And I was like, oh, I'm like, well, I don't really need like woven fridge magnets because I have children and they'll just either get like eaten or spilled on or broken or whatever. But I was like, I wonder if she could do it as a button. So we, after some messaging back and forth and her going on some supply runs, I bought a set of, so it's like scraps from her hand weaving on like a covered button. I don't know if you can see like the loop back there. So the plan is, I haven't decided if I'm actually going to put like proper buttonholes or like if I want that versatility of being able to unbutton it, or if I'm just going to like sew the buttons to sew it together, if that makes sense, like kind of attach it and then sew the buttons on top for decoration. But either way, it's going to have these like really nice big chunky, probably 5 of the 6 buttons coming up the side.
No, that'd be cool.
It's going to look really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got these ones with the neutral colorways, and then because I have like sweater knitting on the brain, what? Oh, crinkle?
Yeah.
It's like when Steve and I, when my husband and I are watching TV and somebody like brings down chips or like, you know, whatever, some kind of snack in a crinkly package. You know, you start off trying to open it really slow and quiet. So it's like, and then the other person looks at me, like, you know, Steve will look over at me like, are you kidding? And then I'll be like, like go really crazy just to bug him. Okay, one more crinkly. So yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I want some plain ones, but then I also kind of want some colorful ones because I bought some natural, like not undyed, but like neutrally dyed wools for future sweater knitting. So I think 2018 is going to be the year of the sweater. I have all the sweater patterns on my brain. So I just bought like a few more fun colored buttons to put as little like accents and decorations on otherwise plain sweaters. I have like 2 different lots of grays and a beige. I was like, why didn't I buy like any colors? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll decorate them with colors other ways. Anyways, that's about that. And then, so I got to get back to that wrap because it's not going to be done in 9 days if I don't spend a lot of time.
Yeah. I can't believe how much you have like that. You just have done that much.
It's because okay. So sometimes the problem with like designing and getting designs in your head is that then you start over designing things. It's like one of my big problems. So I'll have like an idea in my head of what I want something to look like, but when I start trying to execute it, it doesn't actually work. So I like, you know, and I need to design on the needles. Like I need to actually see it in real life. I can't just paper it out and always have it translate the way I want it to. So it was like, I think I even cast on a swatch to play with a couple stitch patterns, thought I had it, cast it on what I wanted, started knitting. So I got about the same, almost the same height, maybe a little higher, and was like, no, that's not it. Ripped it back to like just that edge, which initially was in garter. Ripped it back to the edge, inserted a different. So I was like, maybe I'll do like a cable pattern. I didn't like that. Then I was like, oh, I'll do this like lacy pattern. Didn't like that. Then I tried something else, didn't like that. So I was like, all right, F it, take it back to 0 and start again. So now I'm just going to keep it simple. So it's rice stitch or stand stitch around the edges. So like knit 1, purl 1 on the wrong side, knit all on the right side, and then just stockinette in the middle. And like keep it simple, and then it will not take me as long and I won't have to think about it, and then I can slap the buttons on and it'll be like a really nice versatile knit. So that's it. Next up, I am working on a design, and I wasn't sure how I was going to show it, but I'm really enjoying it, even though it's kind of on hiatus right now while I finish up other things. But so this is the 11 colorway from Knitting It Up, Annie in Montreal, I believe, or somewhere in Quebec. So she did this mystery yarn club with a Stranger Things theme. So this was the second colorway that she came out with. Now it's everybody knows because she has started re-dyeing it at people's request that you can like order or pre-order. So I think I maybe mentioned this actually the last time, or maybe on my Instagram, about how I had done this like scarf with the Stranger Things theme, and this was the stitch pattern that I had used for the 11, or part of the stitch pattern that I had used for the 11 block. So it's just a slip stitch pattern that makes this like interesting kind of raindrop feel. And the yarn itself is like this purpley, pinky, mauvey kind of color with speckles of black and red. So like for her nosebleeds and that kind of thing. Well, you only watched the first episode. So Stranger Things fans know 11. So I feel like I love this colorway. It's like, it's girly, but it's not like super girly. And then for me, this stitch pattern, and I'll explain it more when I actually put the pattern out, but there's a few different ways that I like, for me, that it represents 11. So this is like the first part of it. It's gonna be a cowl. So this is the first portion. Then it's gonna come around with a stripe. So I'm striping in this yarn, which is I think the Raven colorway. Yeah, Raven by Yarn Inc. And yeah, so it's gonna have like just simple stockinette stripes going around. And then when it comes back to here, it's going to button together. Anyways, I think it's gonna look interesting. And I have these really awesome buttons that I've been sitting on for a couple of years that are forged steel, I think. They're like super ridiculously heavy. They're like you pick up 6 buttons in the pack and you're like, ugh, like there's some weight to these buttons. So I'm hoping they won't be too heavy for the cowl, but I think they'll look really cool if it works out. And then I'm in love with this little bunny and toot waffle progress keeper that I really don't need on this project, but because it goes with the yarn, it came with the yarn, I just have it hanging there for decoration because it's so cute. I mean, if you don't watch Stranger Things, but Stranger Things fans understand why the waffle. Yeah, otherwise it seems kind of random. I used to like Eggo waffles myself until food allergies got the better of me. But so in that regard, who doesn't like Eggos? It reminds me of Nana. Oh, Nana's house. When we used to go to our Nana's when we were little, we would do overnights at my Nana's house, and that would be like the Sunday morning breakfast thing was always waffles. So there you go. It's twofold now.
I'm just having a hard time because it's next to that girl's nosebleed yarn, and I'm like,
nosebleed and waffles.
There's been a lot of nose-picking nosebleeds at my house in the last while, and I'm like, I want to eat waffles beside that. Like, I'd be like, kids, go away! You're ruining my breakfast.
Oh, the interesting things you encounter as a parent, right? All right. Anyways, so that's about that. So hopefully that pattern will be done at some point in the not too distant future. I was hoping to get it done before I finished watching the second season of Stranger Things, but there were only 9 episodes, so it was like a 3-day watch for us. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I had one more. What did I do with it? Oh, literally just cast this on this morning while I was at the dentist with the boys, because I realized like this was my travel sock project. And I was like, oh, I have no travel-y project. And I was looking at everything else going like, there's nothing else I really want to knit on while I'm at the dentist and everything, and most other things I have on the needles, I was like, I have to pay attention to that. So I was like, I don't want to do that. So I was like, I'm going to cast on some new socks. So this is, I love it. This is Nomadic Yarns in the Molly Weasley colorway, which I had been like eyeballing on her site for so long. And then finally, like several months ago now, but finally bit the bullet and ordered it up on sport weight. So it'll be a little bit heavier. Not quite as heavy maybe as those 6-ply ones, but a little bit heavier. Somewhere in here's the tag.
I like that colorway. That's a really cool colorway. And I just love how she winds it.
Yeah, really the gobstopper balls. She now, I think, gives you a choice, if I'm not mistaken, of like if you want it in a skein, a cake, or a gobstopper. I always choose gobstopper balls because I'm like, how much fun is this to stare at in your bag? It always looks good. Like so far, I have never, I think I can safely say, I can hear Tigger. So far, I don't think I've ever had a gobstopper ball that has ended with like a mess in the middle. Because I've seen that before. Maybe someone was talking about it on their podcast where it was like the middle was started as like just a hand wound ball and then they did the outside nice. So as you're unwinding it, eventually you get to like in the middle. And I don't think that's ever happened to me with, it definitely has not happened with the Twisted Limone. And I don't think it's happened to me with the Nomadic either. But I don't know if I've knit with her yarn now that I'm saying that.
I was just thinking I'll let her in because she's just gonna have a nap and she'll be quiet, but no.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm interested to see what I find in the middle. But anyways, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 color. I think this is a 6 color stripe, so I think it'll be really cool when it knits up. Anyways, my whip is literally this big.
Oh, those are really small stripes. Oh no, okay.
Yeah, because it's a 6 stripe repeat. They will be kind of thin.
Just looks like, because of how it's like wound, I thought it was gonna be like a little bit thicker, but that's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they'll be really nice. I was debating this morning. So at the same time that I had ordered this one, I don't know. I really like her Harry Potter colorways because they're just also fun. I have the remnants of Steve's scarf are still in this project bag. At the same time that I had ordered the Molly Weasley colorway, I had also ordered Bellatrix Lestrange. So
grays and black.
It's do you want me to go grab it?
Sure.
I love it. It's so like deep and mysterious. Hold please. So this is Bellatrix Lestrange. So it's like a burgundy. It's very hard to see probably on here, but it's like a burgundy, I would say like a semi-solid. So there's some light, some dark in that stripe. And then this one, it's like a black, but it to me almost reads like an extremely dark purple, this one. And then this one that's like a gray with like this almost acidic green speckle to it.
Yeah, I thought it was like
I don't know what it is about this colorway. And I mean, in general, I think Bellatrix is like one of the cooler characters. Like I just love, oh crap, what's her real name?
Yeah, I can't. I was going to say Helen Mirren, but that's not right.
Oh. It's right.
She was the queen in,
yeah.
If you haven't seen Harry Potter, she was the queen in Alice in Wonderland. If you haven't seen either one of those movies, then I don't know.
Random fact, she's the voice of one of the main characters in Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which my kids are currently one of our movie obsessions.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's the red-haired lady. Tottenham, Lady Tottenham. Because I was like, why is that voice so familiar? And then I looked it up at Helena Bonham Carter. There you go.
Okay, she is Helen.
Fight Club. She's in
yeah.
I want to say Peaky Blinders. It's not Peaky Blinders. What's that movie? With the barber who like kills people. She's in that too. Anyways, whatever. Bellatrix Lestrange. I just think she's a really fun, like a cool villain character. And then I saw this colorway and it just like, I like dark colors. I tend to gravitate generally towards dark colors. It's like I like really dark colors and I also like neons. there's not a whole lot of like middle ground, generally speaking. Anyways, and then I was down there, so I figured I'd also grab this one that I was talking about before, which is the, what's it called? Amarantia? Anyways, this is the one I want to do.
The love potion.
Yeah, the love, I think it's love potion. So it's like the dark purple, the lighter purple, the gold, the peach, and red. And I just think like, oh, it's like such a weird, if you verbally told me those colors, I'd be like, yeah, that's not going to work. But like, I don't know, something about this, like it just sucks me in and I'm like, yes, love potion.
Is it all going to be socks?
No, this is going to be this.
Oh, okay, right.
But I bought 2 balls, so it's going to be like.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I like, it needs to be done before Valentine's Day so I can wear it all February long. Which probably won't happen because again, I want to knit all the sweaters. But whatever. The Bellatrix will be socks, and Molly Weasley, I think I'm going to like try to use up every single scrap of this and make tall socks this time. Because I feel like it just needs to be tall socks. You need to be able to see every single colorway repeatedly. Anyways, I think it'll be fun. So that's my last whip. That's my last like active whip. Let's face it, I have a lot of whips, but those are the things I'm actively working on. Future knitting. Okay, pull back out your ball and I will grab mine.
Well, my ball just doesn't look pretty because it's not in the ball, like it's not wound in the, what do you call that again?
A gob stopper. I'm going to unwind the part because I was having winding issues. I got overzealous on the ball winder and I went a little over past the weight, so I had to go back. But so this is a somewhat long awaited, because the first package got lost in the mail. So thank you so much to Samantha from Scrumptious Pearl for sending me a replacement. This is, oops, wrong. I don't know what I did with the tag. This is Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? And I was like, I don't think I've ever ordered an intentionally Christmas yarn, but because I'm sorry for the Christmas people out there, I'm not a Christmas person. I'm more of a Christmas person.
I'm a Christmas person.
This is the Christmas, I almost called you the B word. This is the Christmas person who brought friggin' Christmas karaoke DVDs to my house in September. Wasn't that when we were saying goodbye to? Yeah,
because we had Christmas in September.
Yeah.
And I'm like to this poll and everything.
Where do you even find Christmas karaoke DVDs in September?
It was like the dollar store, because lots of places love to start. I'm not normally starting to think about Christmas in September. It was just because we were doing that for Dad. Yeah.
We were saying goodbye to our parents because they were going to live and work in the Middle East and would be missing at least the first Christmas that they were going to be gone for. They left in the fall, so they wouldn't be back for Christmas that year. So we did like a very early Christmas that year, which is against all of my life rules. Like literally, I'm like the person who's like, oh, it's Christmas Eve, we should probably put the tree up. Whereas like I have neighbors who were like the day after Halloween putting their Christmas lights up, and I was like, I hate you people so much. Lights I don't mind looking at. They're not obnoxious. I don't mind looking at them, but like, yeah, some of the other stuff drives me crazy. Anyways, but when Samantha posted this colorway, like as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm going to be on that update like white on rice, because I was like, I need this colorway. And I think this might be one of my first ever sparkly sock purchases that I intend to make for socks. I have a couple other sparkle yarns, but I would never use them for socks. But I'm like, yes, Buddy needs to occur on a sparkly sock base. So then I had this idea of like, oh, you know what we should do? Split this ball in half, which is why the overzealous cake ball winding. Split this ball in half and make matching-ish, mostly matching, Christmas socks. So that is going to be our first sister knit along. December 1st, we're going to cast on, with the goal of being completely done our socks and have them ready to wear for our side of the family Christmas gathering, which is going to be December 18th, just because my stepbrother is coming from BC for a visit. So, yeah. So I'm going to be doing Buddy the Elf mixed, well, contrasted with Egg Hunt, which is also Scrumptious Pearl. I love her little logo. It's so cute. So it's just like a tonal semi-solid. I don't know if it's semi-solid or if it's just shadows, but very pale gray. So
Mine is semi-solid.
yeah.
Yeah.
This must be a little semi-solid, but it's so subtle that you hardly even see it. Yeah. Looks like it's wearing a wig. Looks like Donald Trump.
Sorry. I just love the logo with the dog with the sock in its mouth. Can't see it. It's too bright, but it's so cute. Anyways, my color that I'm going to do for my toes. Oh, it's actually, you probably said this before. It's actually meant for toes and heels. It's a toes and heels mini.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That I knew. Because I bought those ones. I bought a set of 5.
Oh, Spring Fling. Mine is called Spring Fling.
I think Buddy would approve.
But it's funny because I'm like, this is so like icy and which is perfect. But I'm like, oh, it's a Spring Fling. And if you saw it, I think you had it in a bag of other bright colors. So I'm like, if you put it with other like Easter colors, I think it would go there. But I'm like, yeah, this to me is like perfect for an icy winter sock.
Yeah. So on Mother's Day weekend, I had ordered. She had a sale, like a code to get some stuff off, and I was like, I'm allowed to buy myself a Mother's Day present. So yeah, it came with these. So it was the gray, the blue. So Egg Hunt, Spring Fling, Bird's Nest, which is like more sort of like a dark minty green, I would say. That's how I would categorize it. It's blowing it out on the camera, but this one is called Full Bloom. So it's like a orangey corally tonal kind of color, and then Pink Lemonade, which is like very true. I would call it like a bubblicious pink almost. Like it's just a really, baby pink, Easter pink kind of color. So when you see them all together, it would be quite springy and Eastery, but it's just nice to have like minis. I really love mini skeins, and they're just nice to have for like little pops of color or contrast toes and heels, or, you know, when you just need an extra little bit for something. Future knits. What? So that's that. Christmas socks. What else was I gonna show you? Oh yeah. Okay. So once that flamingo tilted cowl is done, my next, I think I'm going to take inspiration from that shape and a bit from that construction method, but put something together myself. So I have this gray sparkly mini skein that I think Hannah Florian, and I can't remember what her shop is called. I want to say it's called Hannah Made It. She's a yarn dyer in the US, and I think it was her who threw this in with something else that I ordered. So it's just a gray sparkly mini skein. It's probably hard to see the sparkles if you can. Oh, there you
can. You totally can.
And there's like the odd teensy little fleck of something else. So there's like the odd little dark fleck, the odd little red fleck, but mostly it's just gray. And then my Joyance Witch sock blank, which I showed on my Instagram before, that I am utterly in love with and looking for the right project for. So I have this, and I should show you the other side. So obviously it's a sock blank, so it's quite long. It's a single strand one, so not for making matching socks, but probably try to knit
a frame.
What?
It just needs to be in a frame.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try my best to only knit. So it starts on this side, so it would be this half that gets knitted first. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to only knit to, I'd really like to save one of the moons, but this one's already kind of cut off. So I might try to take it and save this.
Yeah.
Frame it. And then I'll just like cut this part off and like finish off the end so that it doesn't unravel, and finish off this end. So I get the bats, the witch, full jack-o'-lantern moon, a little bit of the graveyard. It'll be perfect.
I need a Christmas sock blank.
Really? I was looking at one. That was ridiculous. I was looking at one online, and I came this close to ordering it as like a Christmas present, and then I was like, no, you're gonna get mad because I've like, she's been stash diving in my stash a lot, which is fine. I'm like happy to share because way more yarn than I will ever knit in this lifetime. And I came this close because Andre Sue Knits, who is like probably one of the undisputed queens of sock blanks, had done a shop update following some events that she was at recently, and had one, and I can't recall what the background color is. It was very like vintage Christmas colors. So I think the background was like a bit minty, and then it had Santas like in different like poses going across the middle. So when you would knit it, it would have like this like minty candy caney effect. And I was like, I kind of wanted it for me. See? And I was like, also my stepmom is like, she collects Santas. So I was a little bit like, I don't know if she would ever knit from it, but it would be kind of cool to like save her a panel to frame. And then I was like, I wonder if you would think this was cool too. But then we had talked about knitting from sock blanks before, and you seemed a little bit unsure about that. So I was like, because I was like, if I'm gonna get your first sock blank, should it be one of the more expensive sock blanks on the market? I was like, I don't know. So I was like,
well, then now you have to explain. The reason I was unsure was because I'm like, that's beautiful.
mm-hmm.
Someone really put, they all know, they're going into it knowing it's going to be knit on, and you can save a picture of it, whatever. But I'm like, it's gorgeous. So I'm like, I would just buy all the sock blanks, and I would just probably like frame them all, like keep them.
Have,
I
like,
don't want to destroy
around your house, like this bunting, like
for all
bunting.
the seasons. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that's why I was like,
mm-hmm.
Don't take that.
When you see us an art sock blank, to me, this is like an art sock blank.
Yeah.
It's a work of art on its own that you almost don't need to knit from. And I like was talking back and forth with Valerie, who is the designer of these, or dyer of these, both designer and dyer. And we were talking about like just joining up the ends and wearing it as a scarf. And she did that with one of her blanks for an event. I don't think she joined them like a cowl. I think she just wore it like, she finished the ends and wore it like a scarf. And she did that at an event that she attended recently. And I was like, that's like the coolest thing. To me, that's a really cool idea, because it's like an instant hand-dyed scarf. And I'm like, that's really cool. But I also kind of want to see what it'll look like knit up, because it'll be interesting the way it variegates and stuff. Anyways, so gray and sparkly. This sock blank, which is also sparkly, but it's a very subtle sparkle, and you probably can't even see it because it's almost hard to miss in real life. Even.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen this more than once in real life, and I've never noticed the sparkle.
There's like spots where the sparkle is kind of coming out of the blank a little bit. I probably can't even get it to pick up on camera. There's
Hold it there for longer. Hold it there for a minute longer. Oh yeah, the pumpkin, you can see that.
Just a little bit. You can see it's like tinsel, almost like it's starting to pull out. But then other spots where like on her skirt here, I can't see it really at all. And that's why, so I got this one. She will like put some up on Instagram sometimes if they're just a little bit imperfect in one way or another. So this was like a one she considered imperfect because there was like hardly any sparkle in it. And for me, that's okay, because I'm not like a super sparkly yarn kind of girl. So very sparkly, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. So it's like a tealy kind of color. Actually, it totally matches my big wrappy thing.
That's the one from your other sock.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the same base.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the same yarn, the Regia upside down, the Regia 4-ply, but yeah, this one's more greeny teal. This one's obviously more purpley blue. Right. But it totally matches my like big boho chic wrap, which I should do next time. Anyways, so I thought that'll kind of pick up these tones in here. So I think I'm gonna do similar kind of construction shape to the tilted cowl, but I'm gonna put my own spin on it. So we'll see what happens. So that's one future knit. I've had that yarn sitting on my kitchen table for a really long time because I just want to look at it.
Yeah.
And then last night, I don't know why, I started thinking about this yarn. So it's the Fleece Artist National Parks collection that they came out with for Canada's 150th. This is the Thousand Islands, Ontario National Park colorway. And I can't remember, there's somewhere here. So the description that they have, so on the ball, they have descriptions for each of the colorways. So it says Thousand Islands, Ontario. It's granite islands with pine and autumn foliage reflected in lake water. So that's the inspiration for the colorway.
Now, when you said national parks, I'm like looking at that. I'm like, yeah, it's like autumn, and then you got some water and like some wheat, and yeah, way to go.
Each location, they like picked a national park from there, and then inspiration from that park. So yeah, so that's I had to. I live in Ontario. I've lived in Ontario the majority of my life, although, fun fact, I was born in Winnipeg, so I also had to buy the Manitoba colorway, not in the, so this is their single ply base. So I thought, Ontario one, I will make a full shawl. The Manitoba colorway, which I love the description of it, roaming bison and black bears. Like, so it's all like gray and or brown and black tones, which isn't really a colorway I would normally gravitate to, but I was born in Manitoba, so I was like, I have to have at least one skein of that. Anyway, so single ply is like really not my favorite. I don't know why. I'm just not a super big fan of single ply, but whatever. I was like, I want to do a shawl out of this or something of that nature.
Ew. Oh my gosh, that is just like, you know what? Like when you just picked it up, I'm like, I can appreciate it. It is beautiful. And I've said to you before, like I can't just shop for a skein of yarn. Like you know, especially one that's like, you know, lots of different colors in it. It's just like not art for my eye. But then hearing the story, and I'm like, I can see the national park.
Yeah.
Oh. That's just gorgeous. I want to wear that too.
Yeah. And it is quite nice knit up. It's, again, so not colors that I would really gravitate towards, but I think it is kind of pretty. And then I remembered that in my stash, I just had some boho chic. I had just picked up a few random skeins because she was getting out of the dyeing game. And it's just called Stone and Lichen. So it's mostly gray with a little bit of green in there. Just very small amounts, so it'll be a nice like neutral to kind of balance it out for me. I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it. I was looking at a few patterns last night and a few things that other people had knit with these yarns, and a few just sort of random things, but I'm not sure what it'll be. Probably something just with like a kind of like a micro stripe, like, you know, one row of each to kind of break it up a little bit so it's not so heavily fall, because fall is just not really my favorite color palette. But yeah, so I'm like,
yeah, but that, I'm like, sorry, I'm just like gushing over it. I'm like, that is like such a nice fall yarn.
Yeah,
really, I really like it.
Can't have it.
No, I know, I'm not saying it to have it. I'm just like, wow, I really, really, really love it.
If I end up not using it all, you can have whatever's left. I think that's it. That's all. Actually, I feel like I want to show this only because it cracks me up every time I look at it because it just looks so ginormous. So Naledi was over at my place on the weekends. We were talking about, you know, projects that I was going to get her to work on, samples and things like that work end shawl. And one of the ones I was like, oh, well, if you want, you could finish this sample for me. So this is my keyed up shawl, probably arguably my most popular pattern. Not that there's a lot of patterns to compete over, but it's just a crocheted shawl. You start down here and it just grows, and basically 2-row repeat. It's a pretty simple pattern, but a little bit of math that had to be worked out that makes it a little tricky the way it grows. Anyway, so I've done this one in a few different sizes of Cindy from Monsoon Calamities flied cotton cakes. And then she came out with these very, very large cakes at the same time that I was wanting to see what something would look like in a double gradient. So you started in one color, transitioned to another, and then went back to the original color again by the end. So she's like, oh, well, if you want, you know, I'll make you this cake and, you know, pick a colorway, whatever. I don't know if I can remember what this colorway is called. Yeah, pick a colorway and then we'll do it for you. So it is called Serenity. It is 10 or 1050. 1,050 is what I almost said. It's not 1,050. It's 1,050 yards of this plied cotton. But every time I look at the cake, it kind of just makes me want to laugh because it's just so big. Like, it just feels like there's so much yardage there. Which is why I like started knitting on it, because I was like, I'm so excited to see it in this colorway. And then you kind of get to a point and you're like, I feel like I haven't, like there's progress here, but like hardly a dent made here. That I'm like, it's kind of discouraging. So
why didn't I take it home? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think that you don't want to let it go, really. You're like,
I want to see it. I enjoy, like, this is like one of the more fun yarns for me to knit in, because if you can see it, it's like 4 strands of cotton yarn, or whatever, cotton thread kind of together. And I don't know how she does it. I kind of want to see a tutorial video, although I know that would be giving away like a total trade secret. But it's like, as you're working with it, you know, it would start with 4 strands of like, the color that you really see kind of popping here is like the taupe, but there is like a strand of like a purpley, mauvey kind of color in there. So it's like, oh no, I'm wrong. It started with the taupe. So it's like, I think 3 strands of taupe and 1 strand of purple. And then as you work and work and work, then all of a sudden it goes to 2 and 2. So 2 taupe, 2 purple. Then you work and work and work, and then it goes to 1 taupe, 3 purple. Then all of a sudden you're all purple. Then you start going 3 purple, 1 of this like minty color. Oh no, there's like another layer of like a bluey color in there. So it's like, you know, like it is kind of fun to like get to those little joins and be like, oh, a new color. Like, even though it's only 1 strand that changes, it's not a massive color shift, but they do all, like, it does make each section look a little different. I mean, these are not the poppiest colors to see that difference on screen, probably the lighting, but it's like more taupey down here and then more purpley up here. But other colorways of hers that I have used, like the first version of that shawl was done in the Firefly colorway. And if I can put a picture in, I will try, where it went from like an acidic kind of green into teal and then to black. So like the color transitions were like, you know, eventually it's quite a stark contrast from one color to another. So I don't know, it's fun to work with. As much as this cake is incredibly daunting, because it's as big as my face. Yeah, it is fun to work with. So I'll probably try to get back to it at some point, although I have another, so I really like switching back and forth between types of projects. So I'll have like something worsted weight on the needles, something fingering weight on the needles, and a crochet project at least. Probably some other whips, but like I kind of have to have all those categories covered, because I find it really cuts down on like hand fatigue and stuff. So I have another crochet project that I'm more interested in working on right now, which is why this also hasn't gotten anywhere. Do you have a visitor? Who is it?
Oh, hello. It's Ada. That's not what I thought. Okay, come in. Come in. You're just going to go back there? Do you want to say hi to Auntie?
Come say hi. Hello. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Mama bought some new pajamas and winter stuff for me. And clothes.
Nice. Is that you? Are you wearing a pajama shirt that has a cat wearing earmuffs?
Yeah, and it has matching pants.
They're really big.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you buy like 2 sizes larger and then they're good for like 5 years for Ada.
I'm 6.5.
Sure are.
I'm
Hey, do you know how to knit?
Yeah, what did you say yesterday? Do you know how to knit, Ada?
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you worked on recently?
I've been trying to work on Daddy's scarf, but I've always been getting tired.
Yeah. After some stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On a really, I don't know what kind of yarn it is, just with the really bulky yarn. And then, do you remember, like, maybe a year or so ago, you gave us like your loom and a really big pair of knitting needles?
Sure.
No, okay, I don't remember what size they are. I wasn't sure if you'd remember what size they were. They're large.
Yeah.
Yeah, really big ones. It's kind of fun to picture.
Bulky yarn and big needles to make a scarf for Daddy?
Yeah.
Cool.
It gets started and then ripped out and started and ripped out. Usually because the knitting needles come out as swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they duel with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, don't do that.
Are they wood ones or plastic ones?
They're wood, yeah. They're wooden ones.
Anything else?
No, I think we're done for today.
Cool. I was random thought, but I was watching another podcast where they're talking a little bit more. Oh, I was watching Espace Tricot, and they're talking about Rhinebeck.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, we need to go to there.
I would love to. I would love to go.
Yeah. I was like, or at the very least, we should try to go to Knit City in Vancouver. I was like, could not wait.
Right.
Yeah. Matt will give us a place to crash, and then at least
awesome.
that part of it covered. Although from us, it would be easier, I think, to get to Rhinebeck, because I think I looked it up to like where the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is actually held, and I want to say it's like a 6-hour drive or an 8-hour drive or something like that.
But
like,
if they ask the accommodations, but I guess also a flight.
But that's the balance out, right? Like would be that we probably can't reasonably drive to Vancouver. We would have to fly, which in Canada, flying in Canada is like so expensive. So
Yeah.
we'd have to fly there, but then we'd potentially have like accommodation covered, or drive to New York, but then have to pay for accommodations. But I wonder, because they were talking about how lots of people did like Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And then like would have a bunch of like people that they know all sharing together.
Like a scare B&B, she said, like from Vampirina. I mean, I need to go. I promised everyone a wrestling match on the bed after the call. It's
All right.
time. Okay, can we say bye to Auntie?
Bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday, knitting.
All right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, Auntie and I need to.